Meeting called to order, please rise.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Lord, let us come together as council make wise and informed decisions for the betterment of the borough. Good luck to all the kids with their graduations and their new adventures coming on. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. There was executive sessions or extra meetings held May 13th, Police Committee executive session for personnel. May 30th, Police Committee executive session for personnel, and then an executive session June 10th for police personnel. Minutes from May 13th. Need to be approved.
Make the motion to approve the minutes.
Justin. Williams, any discussion? Roll call.
Jennings.
Aye.
Williams. Aye. Schultz.
Aye.
Preston.
Aye.
Neely.
Aye.
Watkins. Aye. Koval.
No.
Are we ready for bills?
Yes.
I'll make a motion. George Jennings. Is there a second?
A second.
Brian Koval. Any discussion? Roll call.
Koval.
Aye.
Williams. Aye. Neely.
Aye.
Jennings.
Aye.
Schultz.
Aye.
Watkins. Aye. Preston.
Aye.
You want to scoot over?
Preston.
Preston. Oh my goodness. Every year I think I've done this. Every year.
I'll answer to it.
So I am sorry. My apologies. Laura Preston. 24 years. I don't think all 24 has been you.
But I bet
But I
she's
know
been
what she does in the past when she's taken over. It's been great. So another year of Tree City USA because of her.
And Amy,
So.
for sure. Backwards.
That's right. I had that.
It's definitely a group effort.
It
is.
Many. So she does this cleanups in the spring and in the fall. So without her, this probably wouldn't be as successful as it is.
We're gonna pass that right off to Dave and Jimmy so they can hang it. Where does that hang? Up at the Arboretum on Troy Street and Carson Street. And this, is there still signs up? Those we have to get worked on because of the state.
Thank you, Lauren.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Have a good one. Thank you, Lauren. Thanks, Lauren. Appreciate your time. Thank
We'll do that at the end of the meeting next year.
Oh, okay. Sounds good. Thank you. Have a good night. You too.
Any visitors in the audience, please give name, address, organization, what you represent, and subject. Individuals, organizations. If you have information to give us, please do. Please keep your comments to 3 minutes. Is there anybody that would like to speak? Mr. Price?
Well, I'm Brian Christ, right here from Canton, on a few properties. I'd like to say the Canton Ware signs stuff are all done, they're up, they look great. Thanks to everybody involved with that. But I'm still waiting for a couple of the agreements, waiting for copies of them. They're supposed to be brought up. As mentioned last time, the other signatures and stuff, so I put them in my file. Also a copy of the PennDOT permit for the application. I'd like to have a copy of that for my file so I can put closure to that. They're back up, they're good for quite a few years, they look great. So I'd like that paperwork, as mentioned last meeting, that they'd like to be presented at this meeting, or at least have available copies.
You still haven't got them, Brian?
I have nothing, no.
Wow.
Does anybody know, was PennDOT, PennDOT actually contacted?
I don't
Was
know,
there a
we don't, on something like that, we don't get informed very well, Brian, I mean, we don't
Right.
get told much on that, so,
Yeah,
you know.
okay.
Can I make a comment? So I'd just like to share for the record, on Wednesday, June 5th, 2024 at 10:12 a.m., I sent an email to Amy Seeley, agenda items for the June council meeting. Please add copies of 2 signed landowner agreements for signs. Copies of 2 signed, okay, let me step back. Amy Seeley responded June 7th, 2024 at 2:57 p.m. Received. I've added one of your items to the agenda. I'm not going to get in, I'm just making that up. But, copies of the 2 signed landowner agreements for signs can be a right to know request if you wish. This is the council member requesting this information, okay?
Okay,
And I was told that I can file a right to know request when addressed at the May council meeting. No other council members wished to see the agreements. Now, I did,
you did last meeting, correct?
but
Mhm.
no one disagreed to see
Okay.
them.
Okay,
So the same thing is, I also had asked for some legal opinions from our solicitor, and no one disagreed, but council as a whole has to request it.
okay.
Now, I'm confused on that as well, because I know after the one meeting, some of the council members stayed after and discussed some legal matters about whether it had to go to the Court of Common Pleas. Did council as a whole request or was invited to the meeting? I wasn't.
Right.
But, so I'm just confused as what is the proper procedure for legal
Well, that's
opinions?
it, right to Brian, yeah, just a simple right to know request, and I get it, I'd be glad to provide it to whoever wants that.
But as a council member, I have to file
Yeah,
a
well,
right to know
Brian, here's
request?
the problem with that. Back in the day, you wouldn't have to, okay? Back in the day, you wouldn't have to, but, you know, times have changed, and it's gotten to the point where people will request something, and then it becomes like he said, kind of. Sometimes it's just better to have it in writing, have it specific, we know exactly what it is, we can provide it, okay? I think that's the easiest way to do it. And I'd
Can
be
I
glad
just-
to do that.
Can I just ask one more question, sir? Dean, you actually provided me a copy, because you got a written statement saying Brian Coble filled out 52 right to know requests, Chris Schrader filled out this many right to know requests. Did you file a right to know request to get that information from Ms. Sealy? You're on the record.
That was addressed at the time, and it wasn't a request for a document, it was request for statistics.
You just provided him statistical information about me and Chris Schrader.
I was told they had the two agreements, it's either yes or a no question. Yes or no, they have them or they don't, that's all I need.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah, we have them, I have them. Yeah,
I don't
yes,
have
I do.
them.
You don't have them.
I do, I have them, Brian.
You have
So I
copies
sent
of
one to
them,
you,
okay.
I sent one to the other individuals, two of them were signed, one was not. I have them, the right to know request, be glad to get it to you. I don't think that fits an exception of the public records, I'd be glad to send it to you. I don't think there's any exception to the rule, so.
Okay, what about the PennDOT permit? When was that called on in application?
I
Who
don't-
paid for the
I
application?
don't have the pen now.
I'm not doing a PennDOT permit on the sign for you. So,
Okay, so there was not one done or there was, yes or no?
One
That's all.
on your property?
Yeah, for one on my property in the borough, that one there.
No,
Because you told me last meeting, or somebody said last meeting, I won't point a finger, somebody said last meeting that it was applied for and they're waiting for it to come back.
No, what I said was I've been in communication with the PennDOT lady. I still have questions that need to be answered to get into their portal. They have not been applied for. And since you took the sign back over, I will not be applying for that permit. I will only be applying for the other two.
Okay,
You
so
will
it's
have to take care of the PennDOT permit
just different
for
than
that one.
explained last time, okay.
No, that's
what I was-
exactly what I said last time.
Okay, and why is
See
the
me after
borough
meeting.
taking
I got something I
over
can share with you.
PennDOT issues with signs in the township?
Because council approved us moving forward with fixing those signs and taking over that responsibility.
Did the township give you approval to do that?
It's not on township property, so they don't have to.
What do you mean it's not on township property?
It's on private property.
It's in the township.
Sir, your name, please?
Sean Packard.
Okay, I won't waste a lot of time, I was just questioning, so yes or no answer if they were,
I thought you got a waiver, that's why the signs went back up.
oh, no, I actually called PennDOT myself.
Just like the other
And-
stuff that I asked about,
Well,
she said she'd
I
get
can
back in a
share
later
it a little
date. We ain't
bit.
got nothing back either from that, Brian, so.
No,
don't-
exactly.
I did talk to a PennDOT rep at the PSAP webinar.
Mhm.
I told him, I said, this is what's going on. What's going on? He says, well, to be honest with you, we got audited a couple of years ago. He said, when what our auditor come back and found is we weren't doing, like she said, identifying a certain sign. And I told him this sign was more of a memorial type thing, and trying to explain, you know.
Yep.
And he said, well, in situations like that, we'd have to look at it, but there is, I believe, a waiver. And I have his business card. I haven't really followed up with him on it or anything. So I just assumed you guys got the waiver. I didn't ever ask.
Well, I was told it was all done, the permits were back, the agreements were all back. I was the only one they were waiting, that's what I was told.
Yeah.
It's like, that's okay, because I called PennDOT the morning after the last meeting, I had the paperwork here. Danny at PennDOT did send me an email with confirmation, it
Did
was
he say
okay.
anything about a waiver or am I?
No, she said it was not needed, they were told that back in September, I believe. They didn't
Okay.
need one because it was a gateway, there was no other advertising, nothing like that on it.
Okay.
So it was okay to do that, it was out of PennDOT's, or out of the right of way, basically, PennDOT's right of way. I think it's 22 feet out of the right of way.
Yeah.
They find that out. I read the agreement to her, and she's like, I wouldn't have signed it either.
Right.
But that's all right. I won't waste any more time on it.
It's hard,
Thank you,
because
everybody.
there's no black and white with it, it's just.
Well, I wanted a yes or no answer. It's okay.
Anybody else in the audience? Thank you, Brian.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you, Brian.
Walter Woods, Canton Township. Can I get a copy of that complaint form sometime next week instead of waiting 30 days? That the state has told you guys you have to hand over to me?
Are you talking about,
The one that currently exists back when I made my request.
so that is on the agenda later, I do believe.
I'll be able to speak at that time about it?
I think we'll answer your question at that time.
Because the state has said that you're not allowed to withhold it.
Okay, so that,
And we're talking back like April, I think I made the request. So talking about right to know requests, when you say make a right to know request, it's really hard for anybody to get any information, it seems like, because it's an automatic 30-day delay because of staffing issues, which the state requires you to tell us what the staffing issue is. And what is the staffing issue? The state requires you to tell us. Does anybody know if there's actually a staffing issue?
Should be. We've had the same staff for
Look,
many
if
years.
Brian or Brian, either one of them wants to make a right to know request, Walt, be glad to get it. If I get a hold of it, I will send it out as soon as I can. There won't be a
No, I'm
staffing
talking
issue.
about like my complaint, like all my right to know requests. Should I be sending them to you?
I'm not the right to know request.
Right. So when she responds back to my right to know request after waiting about 5 days, she says that she needs an extra 30 days to respond because of staffing issues. The law says you have to have a specific staffing issue. Is there any staffing issue in this agency right now?
Can I make a
With
response to that,
Absolutely.
please? Actually, Mr. Woods, I believe you appealed that to the state, and they said that my 30-day extension, it is not a delay, it is a legitimate 30-day extension, was acceptable. I used their form. You asked for a second review, and the head lawyer came back and denied both your appeals and said that what I am responding is correct. So if you question the law, you need to take that up with the right to
They
know people.
specifically said
They
that
did not in that appeal, and I can.
They
pull
didn't
the-
say anything specific because I haven't said what they specifically said yet.
If there's an ongoing case, just, I would
No,
just
that's
put it
over.
there. I
That's
don't
done
think
and
it-
over with.
All right, well,
They specific, I'm correcting her right
litigated
now. I'm correcting her on what she said. So please allow me to do that, okay? They did not say what she was doing was correct. They said that I had filed the appeal untimely. And so it was not permissible for me to file at that time. I have not refiled in a timely manner. That is very different than them saying that she is doing things correctly.
I am using their form letter, which states just the box to check for the bona fide staffing.
Yes, and if you look at the law, it says
I'm not
bona fide
arguing
staffing
what the
issue.
law says, but I am using their form letter, and they have not instructed or put up a different form letter to use.
That doesn't matter.
Well,
It says specific staffing
Until
issue.
they tell me differently or give me a different form letter to use, I'm following what
Okay,
they provided.
So what is the staffing issue? Does anybody here actually know?
Well, this is something, it sounds like this is something that you would bring up with the right to know folks.
No,
And
this
the
is
appeal
something to
board.
bring up with council. Is there a staffing issue?
She,
The right to know office will not know if there's a staffing issue here. I am asking council right now, is there a staffing issue in the right to know department of this office?
Yeah, it is.
That's all I'm asking right now. Is there a staffing issue? Does anybody even
It's
know?
never been brought to my attention if there was.
Okay.
That I'm aware of.
Me
So
neither.
two council members says they don't know of a staffing issue. Anybody else?
Thank you,
Sorry.
Mr. Woods. It's about the end of your 3 minutes.
So, can I just add, Solicitor Brand, do I file the right to know request to you? You're not the officer?
We have a right to know request office.
Anybody
So I
else?
send it to her?
Anybody else in the audience? Go to the back corner.
Pete Ferrari, 146 East Second Street, concerned citizen. I just have two questions. I live on the corner of 146 East Second Street and Washington Street. There's a stop sign right there, and it's constantly being blown through. And coming out of my driveway or our road that way, if we're
Yeah.
going down, quite regularly, I almost get T-boned by traffic, either just kind of rolling through and turning, or a lot of times coming from like the poolway. I know it's 50 miles an hour there, and they tend to just kind of keep blowing right through. So my question is maybe we could have more of a police presence there. There's plenty of roads down past my house that they can maybe park and just kind of identify that as a problem. The other question that I had was in regards to the berm. It was part of that beautification project that you guys started last year. Seed was brought in, dirt was brought in from the stop sign up past probably the Schrader's house. The grass just hasn't taken. It's just brown, and we've gotten plenty of rain. It's just really thin. I don't know if it could be reseeded or maybe retilled and reseeded, or if there's something different we could do. Because I have noticed across from the pool, it looks beautiful. It looks really nice down in front of low income, but up our way, it's not working out so well. And I didn't know if anybody on council has been down by there to see that it just isn't taking.
All the time.
So that's all I had.
I'm aware of it, and that is part of my plan to go in there and reseed and redo that section. The seed went in too late.
Right.
We got a frost, and that ruined that area, but I am gonna reseed that area down through there.
That's a little too wet.
Go ahead, Chief.
We've had complaints of people running the stop sign on Montag and 2nd Street, and the officers have been sitting down there, but we're not aware of Washington.
Actually, Lacey told me today she's been sitting back in behind you quite a bit and watching, so she's noticed that that was a problem. So I don't know if it just started, but we were just talking about that this afternoon.
It is true, 'cause I've seen your officers down there, I come home late at night from fishing, and like when my headlight shines, I drive in the back, I'm like, oh, there's a cop sitting down there, so they are down there. I
Yeah,
can tell
she
you that.
just told me that today.
I don't know if it would help though, and I would have to read the code. Could we put a white line on the side, much like we have at the red light? Do you think that would help?
Oh, at the stop sign?
You'd have to put a sign that says stop here.
Well, even just a white line, I think. But,
We can look at what the MTMUC, that one, the book that tells us how to mark things, and see what it says for stop signs.
Thank you, guys. Anybody else in the audience? All the way in the back, sir?
Archie Drummond, 162 Upper Mountain Road. Years ago, they blacktopped the driveways above my, not the driveway, but the ditches above my driveway there. And it's either been flooded by stones or grass, and it looks like the pipe that I gotta keep going in every year. I was going to address it, get that fixed up. They should have been blacktopped from the top all the way down, but they stopped just my property and just dump stone in there, and it washes up, fills up the pipe. I dig it out. The guy who cuts grass comes across the road, fills up the pipe. I just want to see if we can get something done with that.
Did you say Upper Mountain Road?
Yes.
It's just right there at the substation.
What's that, I'm sorry?
I said right there at the substation.
Yes, right there at the substation, yeah. Years ago, the township, or the borough put the pipe in there, and it works, but it just keeps getting filled with stone and dirt. So, yeah.
Do you check that out regularly, or?
No, I don't check that pipe out regularly and everything, and it's, with the amount of stone and people blowing grass and stuff in it up on the mountain, and when we get the hard rains, up at the very top, it pushes the stone out and crosses the road, and then it pushes it down that ditch line down there. I have really, because of the driveways and stuff, I don't know how to control it. The driveways are my biggest enemies, because the amount of debris they bring down on the roads and in my pipes. I don't know, I can look at it, I don't know what I can come up with to,
If you blacktop the ditch, will that help any?
if I blacktop the ditch, well, it just makes the water faster coming down through there. I mean, it speeds it up. We do in the future have plans on hoping to get some help with some money to redo all the ditch lines the whole way up through there. But, right now, there's nothing.
Box?
Well, we're gonna run Fleximat and all that down through there, so it all can be mowed and looks pretty down through there. Plus, it slows the water down and everything. And there's gonna be new pipes. The pipes are gonna be upsized to handle everything. But that's
What are they now, 12 or 18?
They should be, well,
Well, there's 15s in there now.
15s.
Yeah, so they'll go up to 18s or 20s. So,
Some of that you won't get in 18 in because you've got a gas line. And some of them spots there.
For a short term, can you get a raised box at that culvert so that the rock isn't going down into that culvert and blocking the pipe? Like the cement raised thing?
yeah, I can. Like I said, when it rains real hard up there at Don's house and stuff, the way he has his driveway and everything, when it rains real hard, it shoots everything out of Don's and shoots right across the road at an angle, and then it heads that right, because it's blacktop and there's nothing restraining it or slowing it off, it pushes all that debris right down to the head of that pipe. Now, I can open up the mouth of that pipe or whatever, some more, to see if that'll help it push through the pipe, because of,
Is there anything in front of the pipe now, or is it just,
it's just open pipe.
is it?
Yep.
I'd say open that up.
Open it up a little more and see what it does, and then we'll go from there.
So in the future, Archie, probably yes, and until then, they're gonna see what they can do.
I mean, if they blacked out up there, that would be, that would take care of that problem altogether, because like, it's the same situation watching cross. Like I said, I've dug it out several times, and I gotta check every time it rains and go there and scrape it. I put a little small grate to try and keep it so the stones would come in. Now the grass fills it up, so it's 6 1/2 dozen other.
Thank you. Anybody else in the audience?
By the way, there's a Sunshine Act violation. The agenda wasn't put on the Facebook page 24 hours in advance, like you're required to by law. Your solicitor should have looked into this by now, probably, to verify it.
Well, I'm not sure of any case law that has indicated that has to be on.
So you go to the people that do the training, which they
I
said.
think you need to file an action against us, and then we'll make some new law and then find out if that's the case.
You would rather have a lawsuit than to notify the public
Well,
of. I'm asking.
I don't know.
I'm asking the
Tell me if there's a
council.
case, if there's a case, look, if there's a
There doesn't
case
need
or
to
there's
be
a
a case.
statute that says that you gotta put it on the Facebook.
A Facebook page is a web page.
Okay, but has that been defined by a case yet? If there's a
Does
a
it
case-
have to be for you
Yes,
guys
it
to do it?
does. Yes, it does. If there's a
So you
case
can't
that
put it on
defines
your Facebook page unless
I don't
there's a
wanna argue.
case?
I'm not arguing with you. Well, no.
That's fine.
That's fine. You can bring it up. That's fine.
Would council be willing to put it to the agenda to add it to the Facebook page? So the public can be better
It's not
informed?
being used currently because there isn't a policy.
Isn't being used at all?
There has
'Cause-
not been any new post on it in over a month, and it is not being used, correct?
Would council be willing to put it on the agenda to start putting the agenda on the Facebook page so that this is resolved and the public can be better informed, and you don't even have to ever worry about a lawsuit then?
So it won't be on this one for sure, because we'd have
Right.
to amend the agenda. It's something that we could
Though you could have,
discuss.
sorry, go ahead, sorry.
It is something that we could discuss at a later meeting.
So you're willing to put it on the agenda for next month?
I said it's something that we could discuss.
That's why I'm asking.
I'm not gonna speak for all.
What do you mean all?
I'm not gonna speak for the others.
I would say yes, but like you said, I'm only one.
Yeah.
So so it can be put on, right?
It can be put on what we talked about.
Yes, that's what,
What motion?
policies are we looking at for Facebook before we start using Facebook again?
I actually attended a
Just a social
session
media
on
prep?
that. There would be a social media policy,
Okay.
and it should not be being used without that, and there was never one created.
Okay.
So- And since it's a rec page, not a Canton Borough page, obviously I was going to speak to you about that.
We're gonna need a policy
Yeah.
before we cover that. Right, now I agree with that.
so you guys have been using the Facebook page without, you're saying you shouldn't have been using it, but you have been? What changed?
I'm just
to-
addressing it.
No, sorry, I was addressing the.
I don't have Facebook, but I've had people say to me, why are we posting things that don't pertain to the pool or recreation on the Facebook page? Like maybe we hired a new officer, there's pictures of the officer, or there's other things. So I think, I don't know, Mr. Brand probably could say, are we opening ourselves up to, like, you know, if we're not using it strictly for recreational information about the pool, and we do start to advertise other things on that page, would that subject us to being then, you know, and I don't think it's a bad idea to put the agenda on the web. Why? Because it's transparency. It's the agenda, come on, you know what I mean?
If we put a policy, if the
It's
council
real
wants to put a
simple.
policy together, do we be glad to do that?
Yeah, so I think that's maybe the thing we can discuss,
That's not
is that,
something that, yeah.
It's just weird that it's been used for years for everything, and then as soon as somebody brings up the subject matter, putting the agenda on there, so the public can be better informed, all of a sudden, well, it can't be used at all anymore now.
I just
That's a
think
weird, weird timing.
Just, it's a borough and it's not part of the recreation for the pool. I think that's when we brought it up last time, that was what we had for Facebook.
Yeah, but it's been used for everything for years, so.
I don't think it's like-
just really weird that right now it can't be used at all anymore, after somebody brought up the agenda being put on there.
I agree. I agree that we
Very
should
odd
have
timing.
one. I think it should be on the Canton Borough website itself and then have the policy. I don't think we should be posting our meeting agendas on the pool per se, the pool's page. But I do agree that, yes, it says War Memorial Pool, and we're posting officers and
Yeah,
everything
been
else on
posting
that. It should be
everything.
strictly to the War Memorial Park and then one for the borough.
and I think that just opens us up to a little bit of criticism, so.
Go ahead and put social media on for July. And we'll start to take care of it. It doesn't mean that anything
Right.
definite is going to happen then.
Right.
It may be a minute, so.
Is there a website on the agenda somewhere?
I
thought I saw it.
I forgot to roll it
Okay.
over this month. I was going to address that under my report. My apologies.
Thank you.
Committees, I'm sorry, any other visitors? Thank you, guys. The only ones that are changing, street committee will go, Mr. Jennings and Ms. Watkins. And then the rec will be Mr. Neely and Mrs. Williams. All the other ones are gonna stay the same. Business,
My stuff on the committee?
I only changed two.
So, George's on 3 still?
Just
Two. I was just curious.
Okay, all of your financial reports are in your packets through the end of May. If you have any questions, you can let me know. The zoning report through the end of May, as well as the right to know report through the end of May is also in your packet. There's nothing new to report on either of the sidewalk loan or grant programs. We had 16 participants in the spring cleanup this year, which was up from 3 last year. In your packets, not for adoption tonight, but there is a public complaint policy to be reviewed for potential adoption at the July meeting. I would ask that any comments be forwarded back to me within the next couple of weeks so the same can be reviewed. There are 2 exoneration lists, one from Gary Gleckner, one from G.H. Harris in your packets. The G.H. Harris one is double-sided. The Gary Gleckner one is single. Gary Gleckner is for this year's, G.H. Harris is for last year's through 2018. And I would need a motion for the same.
I had a question.
Now let's get motion and second first and then discussion, okay?
On, what are we motioning on?
The exonerate tax leaks.
Generation list.
On the commission.
You know, what is there a second?
Second.
Dave Preston. Any discussion?
I guess, why does this guy have so many?
Because they must have just got hold of them to realize that they've been out of the borough that long.
Okay. Like, man, this is, the guy who filed his taxes that long. I was getting nervous for him.
Any other questions? Brian, did you have any? It sounded like you started to.
Not that,
Okay.
it was, we'll finish this and we'll go back.
Any other discussion on the exoneration list? Roll call.
Neely.
Aye.
Vogel.
Aye.
Watkins. Jennings.
Aye.
Preston.
Aye.
Williams. Yes. Thank you. You're good.
Correspondence?
Yeah, I will just say it's not on the agenda, on the website. I forgot to roll it over to the agenda, but I don't have anything new to report. Julian and I have to get back together, so just over the last 30 days, it didn't fit into this couple. Thank you. You're welcome. Correspondence, statement of financial interest forms were due. There actually wasn't a PSAB update that came through this time due to conference, and there is a detour map for PennDOT work in Alba slated to start the summer of 2026. but the detour is all state roads, it's just bringing them into Canton, but at least they're not using resident, or our roads, so that's all I have at this time.
Mayor or Chief Seeley? Yes.
I know she can't see because she's looking at her computer and typing, but I actually raised my hand. A manager's report, letter G, public complaint policy for review. 2018 approved meeting minutes. There was an incident at the Canton pool, Mike, and you at that time asked the lady if she'd like to file a written complaint form, and you at that time also designated that the complaint form you put on the borough website when we had the website, okay? And also that 2 copies of the complaint form be given to each council member. So some 6 years ago, now we're just coming up with a policy. Could you just clarify why the complaint form was never put on the website and why the council members never had copies of it?
I don't know why. That's 6 years ago. I don't remember everything that happened.
Okay. You did direct the
All right, let's keep moving.
administrator to do that?
No, let's keep moving. I tried to
Okay.
answer and you wanted to cut me off. Police department, either mayor or chief.
We have that for the next one.
Council has their May police report. As far as the motor vehicle, it's been turned over to the committee. The mayor. Personal matter, if you want.
I'd like to read a letter from Officer Dibble on the letter of resignation. Dear Canton Borough, please accept this letter as my formal resignation from my position as a police officer at Canton Borough Police Department. My last day of work will be June 10th, 2024, effective immediately. I regretfully ask that we accept this letter.
I'll make a motion to accept the resignation with deep regret, and I just wish Austin the best of luck in his future endeavors.
I'll second the motion.
Dave Preston, any discussion? Roll call.
Maybe you have a reason why?
Nope.
So are we gonna advertise for more help so we can keep losing more help, or what's the deal here?
We're gonna, the program we have in place just needs to be revamped. It will work.
Program? You have a program? Explain that, Dean. Because like Councilman Jennings just stated, you're hiring, you're paying to hire for people, and then they're leaving within 6 months to a year. Explain what the program is, so the community knows.
Well,
Exactly, there is none.
But,
Motion, second.
yep.
Any other comment or discussion about Austin Dibble's resignation? Roll call.
Preston,
Aye.
Watkins,
With regret, aye.
Williams. Aye. Jennings,
No.
Neely,
With regret, aye.
Schultz,
Aye.
Vogel.
No.
I need a motion for the downtown celebration road closure, for July 13th, please.
Well, I can make the motion, but I think I have to abstain from the vote. Get paid to play the drums that
I say, better make sure you fill out one of these forms, or you'll be in trouble.
I do every time.
I ain't filling it out.
So this is just to close the street.
So you can make the motion, but yeah, you can't.
I can make the motion.
Yeah, he can make the motion,
I can
but
make
the
the
motion
motion.
just puts it on the table, correct, thank you.
Right, I can make a motion.
Well, he can make it, because it just puts it on the table for discussion.
Any discussion?
What exactly do we close? I'm sorry.
Oh, we closed the square down to the Acorn.
Okay. Troy Street continues.
Yeah, that's part of our detour. It's the block dance, the normal block
Okay.
dance. And actually, this year and last year, we closed up North Center Street to Union, but local track, like houses could get into their driveways. That's because we set up like the axe throwing thing right out here, so we just didn't want traffic coming down. through.
Okay.
So,
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other discussion? Roll call.
Watkins.
Aye.
Neely.
Aye.
Cole.
Aye.
Schultz.
Aye.
Williams. Preston.
I'll abstain.
Jennings.
Do you have a reason why they abstained?
No, you just have to do the form.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Street department,
Council has the report firm, nothing to add or change. Also, I'd like to talk to council about our yard waste issue that's going on in town.
can you come out a little bit more, David, so everybody can hear you?
What's going on in town now is people are starting to take advantage of us. It's not just your normal yard waste, it's trees and cut up trees and
Full bushes.
yeah, full bushes and stuff like that. And I've run out of room to put this stuff up there. I can't, I'll be lucky if I make it this year at the rate it's going, with what people are putting out. So I need to somehow we need to somehow figure out how to notify the public that I'm no longer taking trees and cut down trees there, you know, and all this stuff because I have no place to put it. Or talk to council if we're gonna keep having this or letting the people do this, is to have council think about putting a dumpster in that we lease year-round, that this stuff can be put into, that I can compact into, and then it goes to the landfill. Every time it's full, I make a call, and it goes on that part. It wasn't so bad years ago, but now, I mean, I go to the shop and I find trailer fulls of stuff that people have dumped up there, and things like that, and it's gotten out of control.
What about a wood chipper?
I say, what's wrong with our wood chipper?
You might as well give up on that. I think it's dead, it's been dead for years.
Let's,
I was gonna say do like a wood chipper and have people go up and get mulch if need be. We can do that for them.
Yeah, a Badger wood chipper right now is about $62,000, and I know we won't use it enough to eat
Yeah,
it.
we don't need nothing that big.
Huh?
We're gonna need a big Badger, just a small truck. What does ours need?
Huh?
What does ours need?
Let's see, it needs the complete drum blade system and motor. It's
all
all
everything.
That comes from Frontier.
George, do you wanna take care of this all at the committee level? Start to find something?
Yeah, cause I think we need to continue taking the brush. I mean, otherwise we're gonna have stuff out along the streets and that's gotta be it.
Figure out ideas down there and then bring it to us. Do you have a meeting scheduled for?
Nope.
Can you?
Yep.
We wouldn't dare, Dave, take anything like if the township had an area where we could dump or something. Have we talked?
The problem is they don't have something.
Yeah.
No, they don't.
I would possibly
We
take
filled
it
up
up to my
Secrets.
place.
Jeff Secrets let us use it for the longest time down there. But
There's over there.
Yeah.
What do you got up there, Walt? That we just dump it out in the field?
Possibly. I gotta talk to the person that's cutting my field, but I have a spot in the field possibly available.
I can't go that far.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't go up in the township that far hauling all this stuff. Even though Secrets let us use it at the time and everything, we were at a spot where we had no choice.
You can't go that far, but you can go to Doc Holmes's.
I go to Doc Holmes with the leaves and stuff.
But you're only another quarter of a mile or less than eighth of a
Okay,
mile.
let me change it all completely, because you're gonna argue with me and it's gonna piss me off. The fact is, I don't wanna put anything on that man's property for the simple purpose of the responsibility and insurances and anything else that could go on while I'm on that man's property. We're not insured to do this. So, and the way you are, buddy, I'm definitely not going
That's
on.
so
The way I am? Okay.
Hey, these guys.
At least I'm not threatening to kill people.
Take a breath.
It's the paperwork I need to do my job.
That just means she made the wrong determination.
Guys, pick it up for Biden.
Of them.
And if you quote anything on me on this, I know where you fucking live. And I guarantee the rifles I have, buddy, can reach way out there.
George, if you can talk about ideas at the committee level, bring us whatever. And/or
No, you ain't dumping nothing down there.
I'd
You ain't dumping nothing.
I didn't think you could, but I had that.
You good?
Make the one we just bought.
Yeah, I have one other piece on there. It comes to my attention, there's something going on with Second Street paving project and stormwater issues on there.
Ryan asked for that.
Yeah, I did. Pete touched base on it a little bit in the beginning. He said, something going on down there. And I took some pictures, and this is kind of what's going on. The stormwater runoff off your pavement now, it's puddling up here on my sidewalk, and I end up with a pond. It's a valid concern because, well, it's summer right now, that'll dry up. In the winter, when you plow your snow over there, it melts. I'm left with ice. Now we got a safety concern. If someone slips and falls, breaks a collarbone on my sidewalk. Yeah, you can see it from there. And that picture's there where you guys come in and dug all that out. So now, Pete, are you getting water in your basement more than you ever did before, after they did the paving and street project?
So yeah, my basement's been wet since I moved in. but-
Keegan writes at a church function, but he actually sent me a letter, and this is his writing, I'll read it if you want. I'm a resident of East 2nd Street in Canton Borough. Since the street has been paved, then repaved, I can't read it right, I noticed a significant increase in water in my basement. I used to get some moisture in there after heavy rains. Now, I get puddles in my basement every time there is a heavy rain. So, it's not that the grass isn't gonna grow, Pete, it's a swamp, it's too wet, it's killing the grass. Now, if you were to go down in front of low income, they have a berm, okay? And you have grates in there so that the stormwater can go into a drain. But here, see the road's curved, crown, so the water comes into my sidewalk and it puddles down here, all right? And you can see how it just ain't got nowhere to drain. Now, the problem is the storm drain's on that side of the street. So if you were gonna pave, if you put a 3-degree angle and sloped it towards your storm drain, the water would have run to that side of the street and went into the storm drain.
Brian, I'm gonna have to defer you on that one. When they pave, they have to put the crown in the road correct.
Okay,
They
so
have to
my
put it
mistake.
back, they have to put it back just like they.
I apologize for that. When we're gonna do a paving project, did we ever think about storm drainage and maybe thinking ahead like, hey, look, where's our stormwater gonna go? There's a stormwater drain up at Mike Skipper's, and I don't know, does that come across under the road there or something?
It comes across from the opposite side of the road where Bab and Gary Griffin used to own.
Where's there a grate there? I don't see a
Yes, there's a
grate.
grate. There used to be grate, but it's got smashed. It used to come across and into that between the sidewalk and the berm. When it leaves there, it goes right straight down through behind all those garages and comes out.
Right, so it crosses over there. But see, like I'm saying, if we'd have done something like that there, put a stormwater drain down here, and so this water could have drained
But the
down.
problem is, and then you'd have to go this way with it. When you get down here to the corner,
There's a storm drain right here, can't
Right.
go under the road.
well, you can, but the problem is, you're not gonna get deep enough from here to there, Brian. See what I'm saying? You gotta have at least a half inch to an inch
So
drop.
then, why wouldn't you have left the modified that the Hallbakers was contracted to pack down and come in and rolled with a steamroller? Why would you come back through and dig all this 2D stone and modify it out and put topsoil and grass in there? Because topsoil isn't gonna stop, right? Can you do some type of French drain or put drainage tile in there so that the water can go down in some gravel?
You can dig down, put stone, then put pipe,
Well,
and
there,
then stone.
there you
again.
go. We got a problem, we got a solution, because this is what it used to look like, George.
I know.
But then again, you left a 5-inch ditch and it's all hardscaped under here. You just put topsoil over top. You know, it was all 2D stone. I just had twist down there, did a driveway, and then come through and dug all my stuff. Now I'm left with a swamp. But even at the drain, you can see it's not going into it. I mean, this water's running the length of the street. It used to, Brandon Wilcox even, I think, spoke it once, it used to come all the way from the car wash all the way down to the storm drain at South Washington Street.
We'll discuss.
So we
that.
have some problems.
We'll discuss
But,
that at committee meeting.
Please do, because stormwater runoff's a huge concern in boroughs, and we have to, well, now you're aware of it, it's a safety concern, and I just want you to know, if something happens, you own it. It's your burn, you cleaned it.
Recreation.
We're sitting pretty good. Reports in there, the only thing we have is that we talked about last month, rules not opening. Really nothing moving on that. With engineering firms, basketball court, anything update there?
Yes, not on the basketball court, just quick back up to the engineering firms. I have obtained a couple more names to reach out to so that we can get a couple more quotes, so then we can move forward with a committee meeting.
Right. Brian, did you get a name and number of that guy, or?
I didn't bring anything.
Okay.
Actually, I had asked for it to be on the agenda, and I was told that we handle it at committee level, that I don't know if I need a right to know request for that too, so I just thought, I'm just not gonna.
Brian ran into an engineer when he was in.
I have the documentation.
I have information from one from
Okay.
conference too, so actually I have the couple from conference, and those were the ones I was gonna
Probably
reach
the
out
same
to.
ones.
If
Okay.
Brian can just tell me that, yeah, I can confirm whether it's the same one, so.
Alright.
I don't have the paperwork with me.
No, but I mean, if you could email me with it, I could then confirm it.
I'm sure we were at the same conference, the same engineer. There's only 2 or 3 of them there,
So
so.
there's nothing new on the basketball courts, because that'll be bid out after we get the comfort station in. But you have a letter of recommendation in your package from Woodland Design. This is for the 2022 DCNR grant. And they received one bid from MR Dirt, and it is $30,000 over our funding available. Again, Woodland Design has provided the letter of recommendation to award it because everything was advertised, et cetera, correctly. I reached out, once I was informed that it was over the amount, I reached out to the county grants coordinator to see about additional CDBG funding, but that isn't an option due to timing. I reached out to DCNR, our DCNR representative, and spoke to him about a grant amendment request. They can do half of it. It has to be a 50-50 match, so we would have to put in 15,000, and I could do. He can't say we're going to get it, but because it's a shovel-ready project, our bids are in, but it might take a little bit to run through their process. And so after I spoke to him, just to make sure I was following the correct steps, I did reach out to the commissioners about counting that $13, but I don't have an answer back from them yet. So worst case is if we approve the bid at 140,000, we would need to take like 15,000 out of our Act 13 funds. But I'm waiting to hear back from the commissioners too.
Okay.
So that's where we're at with that. So it's up to council whether you want to award it to move forward or not.
Where did this get posted that, because I know a lot of construction companies that are hurting for work right now. Where did this get advertised?
He uses PennBid, which is
PennBid?
what all of them use. And he had a couple reach out, but MR Dirt were the only ones that followed up.
Okay.
So, yeah.
My only question would be, when we were talking about Act 13 funds for the fire contract, you said it was already earmarked?
Some of it is already earmarked.
So we'd have another 15, no, maybe in reservation yet? We could?
Yeah, and
Okay.
for me, the fire contract, we have a fire tax, so that's where that money should come from. So you just make up the difference each year.
I guess,
Yeah.
I didn't know if there was enough money,
Yeah, I wouldn't.
earmarked.
Yeah.
if there
Act
was
13's kind of
after.
a slush fund, per se, from your.
For as
own
long as
gas.
we're getting it, but we do have 60,000 earmarked from it for the basketball courts for next year, hopefully.
That'd be nice.
So, again, hoping maybe that the commissioners could come through with it, even if it's a portion of the 15,000. But worst case is we would be putting in 15,000 if we wish to move forward. If not, then we aren't doing the project. The biggest amount was that the comfort station came in at about 20,000 over anticipated cost, so.
Again, just thinking, can I ask a question? We get budget money for the pool this year, pool ain't opening. Would that money be available in the general fund to use for the basketball court, or we couldn't use
Well, I'm
money?
not talking about the basketball court, I'm talking
Or
about
the
the
pool,
comfort
it's a
station.
grant.
It potentially could, but if I can leave money in the general fund for any other expenses, I prefer to.
Okay, thank you.
And that if we are replacing the pool, I kind of like to leave money in the pool for the pool, like whatever we decide, right, to cover engineering costs or anything.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
because
don't know,
there
just
will be
'cause we're
a
not using it, I don't
significant
wanna go
engineering
full.
expense.
No, I got you. We budget for a loss.
Budget for loss and keep going on a loss.
So you need a motion then to award the bid for $140,000, being 30,000 over,
If that's
with the potential of another grant covering 15,000. putting
a
us-
grant amendment, yeah.
Well, table that, we get more information.
But the problem is, if we table it, the price could go up more, even more.
Oh, really?
Can I bring something up on this pen? Does it have to go through PennBid, or did it go through PennBid because of the DCNR grant?
I think that's just what our design consultant uses. Like, it was in the newspaper that then they would go to PennBid. And that's the way our paving projects go anymore too, is PennBid. Everything is pretty much PennBid anymore.
I just know a lot of good contractors, and I know they're probably not on Penn Bid and looking at that kind of stuff, or looking at papers.
But
and-
it was in the newspaper as well.
Okay.
So, yeah, because you still have to advertise in the newspaper legally, so it goes in there and directs them to Penn Bid. So they still could have reached out to Woodland, for the information. I get what you're saying.
It just, if it's shadowed under a Penn Bid, it kind of looks like it's Pennsylvania, so I think some people might have
Okay.
some reform that they're gonna have to pay prevailing wages.
Well, this was a
So-
prevailing wage, whether it was Penn Bid or not. DCNR makes it prevailing wage.
Okay.
So that probably would have knocked a few of them out anyways.
Yep, all right.
Does it cost to post on our sites?
But it might have to do with DCNR's regulations.
Yeah,
with the
they
prevailing
have to-
wages and
yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
I'll make a motion, we accept the bid for $140,000, even though it's $30,000 over. 'Cause if we have to rebid it again, the price could be up even more. That's my only opinion, you guys can do what you want, but you gotta do something with the pool, huh?
That's why we have you here.
Is
I'll
there-
second it.
Is there a second?
I'll
David
second it.
Preston.
This is a quick pool.
Pardon?
No, this is a quick pool. George said something about the pool.
This is for the comfort station.
Oh, comfort station.
Yeah, not that pool.
Any discussion?
Does your reasoning for the motion still make sense though?
Mhm.
Okay. But I know nothing about dirt, other than I get on me all the time.
I'd like to add on to that to have Ms. Sealy keep reaching out for the other grant if we could get it, even if it, matching it, it'll reduce our cost by $39,000.
So are you amending the motion?
Yes,
So we have to
yes,
vote on
the amendment.
motion?
Is there a second to the amendment? I'll second your amendment.
Any discussion on it? Roll call.
So this is on the amendment.
Just the amendment to add the other 30 to try to find another grant to cover half
Okay,
of
I
it.
got it. Williams, yes. Preston,
Aye.
Neely,
No.
Coble,
No.
Watkins,
No.
Jennings, Schultz.
Aye.
That passed. And so this would be the motion to award the bid. Or the vote
The
for the
amendment.
original motion.
That was the amendment.
That was the amendment.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
That's just on the amendment.
Right.
And now we go back to the main motion.
Right, now
Correct,
this is
correct.
on, right, the overall.
Any other discussion?
If we don't award this bid, are we going to rebid it, or what would the plan be?
Yeah,
we don't award it.
Yeah, we have to
We
rebid
have to
it.
rebid it out,
Okay.
And then it could be more, like Mr. Jennings said, and who knows how much.
or it could be less if we get a lot of people involved instead of just one.
Yeah.
But it will also cost to re-advertise,
Yeah.
et cetera, so, yeah. And push the project back.
Good question. Any others? Roll call.
Jennings,
Aye.
Williams. Aye. Schultz,
Aye.
Preston,
Aye.
Neely,
No.
Watkins,
No.
Coble.
No.
Thank you, I will move forward with that, that's all I have at this time.
Code.
All right, you have your recorded in your hands. I talked to John a little bit late last week on some violations of grass. We did have 3 of them sent out. Mr. Packard sent me some more tonight, which I believe 2 of them, maybe 3 of them are the original ones. So I will get ahold of John tomorrow and we will discuss that.
Is he coming to town and doing rounds? or-
Yes.
Yes, okay, good. I'm just curious.
And then you've got a fence waiver we request, 289 East Main Street. To council members of the borough, I am the homeowner of 289 East Main Street. I am requesting permission to put up a 6-foot stockade fence on my property, which is a double lot. The yard is on one side of my entire property. The fence would sit back 30 feet from the sidewalk and 3 feet in from the property line. This will give adequate sight for any neighbor leaving their property onto Main Street Road. The purpose of the fence is for safety reasons concerning 4 kids and a dog.
They recognize that property where it goes.
I don't,
Doc, Russian?
Yes.
it's between the cemetery and,
Yeah, it's right next to these, going east on Main Street.
The other side of the cemetery.
and just to back up a little bit, I don't know how many months ago, Mr. Rob brought the Troy Street one almost out of the borough. I'm not saying we have to approve this one, because we approved that one, but the one just, was it one property past the birds?
Yeah.
On the left going out. So there is a similar one that did have a waiver, for very similar reasons.
Right across from the, as you come out of North Street and turn left, come into the borough, it's right there.
Do we need a motion before we ask questions about this? Discuss it?
I'll make a motion, we make a motion, we accept the request, fence waiver request.
I'll second it.
Dave Preston, discussion.
I have a question. What was the exception? Was it the height of the fence?
It's only supposed to be 3 feet in the
But that's
front.
the height of the fence is the exception. Is
rest
this
of it,
for
yeah.
us to do, or is this a planning commission?
No, in the fencing ordinance, it is a waiver to council
Okay.
if there's a discrepancy, or if there's a question.
And has anybody talked to the neighbors next door?
I haven't talked to him, Ashton, so I don't know.
Oh, he doesn't own it. He doesn't own it. He lives there.
Oh, does he?
No, that's a rental.
Oh, I didn't know.
I just found out last week, so I know that. He doesn't even pay rent, I don't think, but he lives there. Setback has to, it's not part of the zoning, the setback is all right on that, as soon as somebody's checked that.
Yeah,
3 feet.
the fencing ordinance requires 1 foot from the property
So
line.
he's
Another
3
one-
feet, so he's okay with that.
What is it supposed to be off? the-
Yeah, I walk by all the time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, look real quick.
Yeah, just, please, thank you.
There's nothing in the ordinance about gates or anything like that.
Oh, I'm sure there'll be a gate probably here someplace.
I don't, it's up to them, I don't think there's any
No.
problem with them having gates or not, that's their problem.
We have lines, I'm guessing that would be a gate.
That's just like it, I'm not sure what that arrow was for, but
Yeah, just showing the opposite of the property line.
I walk by it when they're coming.
Fences and walls in a front yard shall not exceed 36 inches in height, shall be an open type of fence such as picket, metal post, so it's also waiver from that, and shall not obstruct visibility.
So it's a stockade fence, an open fence?
View of pedestrians or-
You'll see him.
I think it's a great idea, but I just want to make sure it's.
I think so.
What was the last little bit that you said?
Fence, no fence or wall shall block a motorist view of pedestrians or vehicles entering or exiting, and that's why he's going to go back
30 feet seems reasonable.
Yeah, you're right.
He's basically where that tree is, if you look at
Yeah.
the drawing.
Okay.
So it sounds like we've got a way to picket to stockade and 36 to 72.
So is that 2 waivers or just 1?
It can just be one.
I think it can just be one. Just put it all in and then reference to follow all other, codes in dealing with the, construction and such.
Will that follow the property owner, or if they sell it? Or do they have to tear it
I don't
down?
know that a waiver would allow, I think as long as it was still there, but maybe when they went to replace it might not, so I'd have to, how big would it be in this?
Might be
The
something for
zoning
the-
does, but
Might be
this isn't.
something
a
for them to
true
know
zone.
if it is something. for that.
They've been in numerous times to talk to both John and I, they've been very communicative about it.
Go ahead, cool.
Just a quick question. If this, I'm not objecting to the variant, but if it's a second request, maybe we should review the ordinance and change the ordinance?
I don't think when it comes to a front yard, you should,
Oh,
just because again, it can block visibility.
okay.
I mean, that's something that could be discussed with the codes committee.
I just was wondering, you know.
But that's, the other one was, I would say roughly a year ago.
Yeah. Well, I'm afraid in the future we're going to find out, like, he did it for him, he didn't do it for me. You know what I mean? I just thought the code said, hey, this is what the code says. It saves us having to be.
It is, that's why the exemption, they're just, it's just a second exemption for a year. The
Oh.
code lays it all out. And they're
Okay.
saying, okay, we want to do this instead of what the
Yeah.
code says.
Yeah.
So they're just looking for an exemption.
But no neighbor complaints or anything, neighbor probably, I would hope not, I don't want to make decisions for someone.
Right. That's what David asked, if neighbors are okay with it.
Very good.
I don't think the people on the west side of it bother them at all.
No,
Why is that, Dave?
There.
Could you be more informative? What
So-
There you go. Good answer,
They all
Dave.
vote.
Yeah, they still vote.
Here, you get a Hershey bar.
Do we want to state in the waiver back, the picket to stockade 36 to 72? And then express the 30 feet back off the road? Yes, no, maybe?
Yes.
That confused me. Should I be confused with that?
I'm confused.
The
So,
exact same thing.
Wavering the two things, but then also including making the statement of it being 30 feet back off the road, like he says in his
That's on here
request.
too.
It is, but just reiterating that in the waiver.
All right. Should we approve that?
anybody else? Roll call.
Total,
No.
Williams, yes. Neely,
Yes.
Jennings,
Yes.
Schultz,
Aye.
Watkins,
Yes.
Preston.
Aye.
Thank you. This should permit for John and nothing else.
Fire department, chief.
28 calls for the month of May,
How many?
28. There's no Wednesday bingo until September. The fair is next week. Board meeting's tomorrow night. At last month's meeting, it was asked and it was supposed to be brought up at this one, for a new representative, someone other than Dean and no one from the fire department. So who's gonna be your rep?
I'm not changing it. And mayor can stay on as the rep.
Well, at the last meeting, you wasn't president and it was agreed it would be changed.
Alright, I wasn't aware of that.
I was gonna change it, but she told me, no, you had to do it, so that's why
I made aware that it was voted on and.
Is that in your bylaws?
Nope, it was brought up and that's why I brought it up here at the Borough Council meeting. It was requested.
Let me come back to that, chief, okay? Just give me a minute.
Okay, and, anything on hydrant markers, Amy?
Yeah, ring, I got them, I received them last week, so all I need from you is a map of the ones that I'm installing them on, and then I'll get them.
You just got half of them for right now?
Whatever the order was that you gave.
Okay, yeah, there was a total of, but, how many was there, George? So I don't know how many you got.
Should have been just about, well, not quite all of them, because we're only gonna do so many. but-
Yeah, half this year and half next year.
But
So-
we gotta sit down and discuss which ones we want. We don't wanna do every one, but
Yeah,
we wanna do the hot ones that we're gonna hit, or not us hit, or the mutual aid department's coming into town to hit.
yeah, so,
So, yeah, just give me that list of the ones you want, and then I'll get them installed.
okay. Anything back on the generator yet, Amy?
Not at this time.
All right. And the other thing would, second quarter payment?
Yeah, due the 15th, I have it.
I signed it tonight.
That's the full amount, correct? Not just a little bit?
That's the current contract.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You said usually mail that out Thursday, or the day before.
Right. It's dated Thursday, it'll be mailed out Wednesday.
All right, I signed it.
All right. No, I was just asking.
Yeah, that's fine, and I
Yeah.
happened to see it, so I signed
Yeah.
it. Did you sign it too, Joe?
Yep.
Yeah, so, yeah,
Yeah.
it's ready to go.
But
Signed
every
it.
year they get mailed out on time, so I guess I'm not sure if there's a question, but, and there was a motion to do it, so.
Yes, it's done. I ask the fire chief a question?
Go ahead.
How's the truck coming? Is it here or soon or kind of date?
We're just waiting on Department of Ag to send a check. It's sitting in Jersey waiting on.
Okay, so it's
So
all paperwork at the state level now.
yep, and hopefully within the next 2 weeks.
You got all the inspections are done and you're ready for it and you've seen it.
Yeah.
It's all done.
Lettering's all done and all
Yeah.
that stuff. Great.
Kinda like you, just wait for a check.
And thank you for the participation in the Memorial Day Parade. I see you have all the trucks in it and stuff. I was hoping to see the new truck.
Yeah, we was hoping to be here.
Thank you.
There's the passenger side.
Well, Ms. Watkins,
Just scroll again toward the
how do you feel about the fire department? Thank you.
8 o'clock
right.
down at the social building. Tomorrow night. Yep. It's every other month.
Oh,
Even,
Well,
all the
yeah,
even.
Fine, David?
Right, yeah. All the even. Brett, anything?
No, nothing to report.
We have the open house tomorrow at the county.
Oh, yeah. See, county open house tomorrow.
Mr. Brand?
Nothing to report.
Mayor?
We discussed, GPS use for the borough vehicles, police vehicles in the street department's truck. We briefly discussed them for the backhoe stuff, but I don't think Dave's breaking any laws or taking any place that shouldn't do that. I believe we have enough, we've checked into the price of that, right? And we can cover that, okay, the installation.
Out of an equipment fund, yes.
Okay, I don't know, do we need a motion to approve that, or?
I mean, there's enough money in the budget that I can pull from one of the equipment funds. But there is a monthly service plan, and since it's something going on the equipment, it probably won't hurt for a motion.
Well, we can't spend money without motion.
Well, if it's in the budget,
In the
like
budget.
normal amounts in the budget.
They wouldn't be.
Right, that's why I said, but with the monthly, it probably should be a motion.
So I would ask, council to make a motion to install GPS into all borough vehicles for safety of our borough employees and accountability.
What is that, 5 vehicles? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Oh, 2 trucks.
2 trucks, 3 police.
I'll make the motion so I can talk about it.
Yeah, that's, I'm sorry. I didn't say anything. Is there a second?
Because they're just supposed to be remarks, it's possible you might have to wait until next month to actually vote on it. Because of the Sunshine Act.
I'll second. All right, David, what was your question?
I didn't hear a second.
I said I'll second.
I just want to know what we're talking about. No, it's 5 vehicles, it'd be the 2 trucks and 3 police cars, is that right? This would be information of location, which would be saved for a while, or live, or both? Look it up on a computer and know where the vehicles are?
What system?
Well, some of them have SIMS card on, so you can pull a SIMS card out and pull the information.
Okay.
Right, they're from Keystone, it doesn't have the brand on it.
So I'm assuming that you're familiar with that type of thing with all your trucks?
Every one of them runs GPS.
And you didn't think it was a good idea for us?
No, it is. I just, there's a lot of issues with them, so I just.
Issues like they cost too much, they don't work like they're supposed to, or?
People
learn how to-
unplugging them, people, they lose service, they, I mean. For
They
a
have,
small.
they have to be updated.
Yeah, they have to be updated.
So often.
They're very, you have to go in pretty much daily and refresh them, and somebody has to be basically monitoring it. We have 4 guys that check over 881 vehicles every week.
So to do 5 wouldn't be quite hard.
No, but I mean, we've had them where we've checked them and then the guy was fine for 5 hours and then we pull his camera after rec or his geotab and it wasn't working the last 3 hours because it vibrated loose.
We're not talking about cameras at this point, are we?
No,
Well,
just the
think-
geotabs.
Think of it this way, have we pulled data from our radar signs yet?
We have in the past, yes, there hasn't been a need to lately.
Who's the,
Do we have a schedule? How often are they being moved?
It's both moved every 2 weeks, but I don't think they get done.
Can we stay on topic, please?
No, I'm just saying, are we gonna buy more stuff or can we maintain what we have and focus on that? Don't sound like we need more things to do and spend money if there's not, if not is dependable from someone that sees this daily. The maintenance and stuff, I don't know. It's up to you folks, majority
I mean,
rules.
we basically check them for 3 things. 1, make sure they're functioning. 2, make sure the guys are following their proper routes they're supposed to be traveling.
Right.
And then if for some reason they pass somebody on the highway, someone calls in and says, hey, truck 116 was speeding, I can pull it from that highway and say, yes, he was.
Well,
I mean, what is the reason, like speeding? Like, normally it's
thing
we have
is,
reason.
locations.
Okay.
And the thing is, you got marked units. You know what I mean? We're a small community.
Well, you only
We
have.
got cameras everywhere.
You only have 2 marked units.
Well, I'm just saying, they're very visible. People see them. If somebody sees somebody, more likely they're gonna say, hey, that's the Canton police car, you know, non-emergency.
Us in the street department, we were blamed for, or questioned, not blamed, but questioned about 2 different incidents. Apparently our truck was. One of them was cleaning over Buttermilk Falls.
Sullivan County, right?
Yeah, cleaning over Buttermilk Falls.
That's what I
mean,
answered.
Right.
and
But you
that
had
was-
reason to be there, right?
No, you
Yeah.
They weren't
wasn't
there.
there.
So this would verify that.
Right.
Okay.
Well, I mean, but how could they prove you were there? I
They
mean,
saw the red, it was a red truck and they said it was Canton Borough on
They
the side
said.
of it. Yes.
Well, that's hearsay.
Right, but we didn't have proof, and the GPS units would provide
No,
that.
if you did daily mileage reports, you got a log in your book?
No.
Well, then make that a spreadsheet. Just write down your
They-
mileage each
they-
day, starting mileage,
I
end of the
had-
day.
I had to do it.
End of the day. And then, like, if you got 40 extra miles, well, hey, where'd you go? You know,
It's not
gas
that-
receipts, you can track your mileage that way every time you fill your truck.
Yeah,
Are
but
you getting 10 miles a gallon, or where did you go, you know what I mean, why are we out of gas so soon?
how much is that truck idle? How much does that truck sit there?
I don't mind doing 2 of the street departments and 2 of the cars, but I'm sorry, but the Tahoe doesn't
Sits in
go
one
over,
spot, we know
sits
where
in
it's
one
at.
spot majority of the time. I may go from there to here, or from here to the post office, or here to the Acorn. I don't think that would need one.
Go to Troy and Columbia.
When?
When it had courtyard.
That ain't very often, Doug, I'm sorry.
Gentlemen, can we stick to?
No.
What's the
No.
cost for this?
So, so the total is $936. If we do the 2-year service plan, that knocks almost $500 off of it, because you get the units for free. And the overall expense for the monthly plan for all vehicles is like $1,200, I think, off the top of my head. And
I was gonna say monthly?
no, annually, for all 5.
That's well wasted. We got them in the ambulance.
What are we
Same
paying for
numbers,
our
It also-
software program for the code enforcement? Initially, we got under a contract, but isn't it like $4,800 a year now, or no?
Well, that's not part of this.
No, but I'm just saying, budget-wise, because we are 6 months into the year, now's the time to start talking about budgets, not wait until, say, oh, I want a truck, or I want a plow, or, I guess, I'm starting to think money
But
here.
there's other uses for this with regard to, God forbid something was stolen, you can track it. And, I mean, I can verify some of Brett's concerns before I move forward, and if I hear that there's some with these, I can come back to council. I did actually email him some questions late last week. They have not gotten back to me yet with the answers. So, because there were some questions that came from talking to Dean and Doug about it. So there are some questions out there I don't have answers for, but if I felt uncomfortable pulling the trigger on it based on what Fred has now brought up and some of their answers, I would ask more questions before moving forward. And I quite often bring things back to council.
Maybe the answer is air tags.
Even if the motion is, you know, even if the motion has been
Were you
passed.
talking about all GPS units or this type
So,
issue?
Mr. Brand.
And I don't either.
Probably you
so.
might not be able to answer this right away.
We
but
run, Samsara.
I think, Chief, I asked this at the,
Then there's another one, there's Fleetmatics. There's a bunch out there, but.
I'm sorry, Brett,
Yeah,
I'm
that's all right.
not saying
Verizon
the
has
name
their
on
own.
it. This one
Verizon
uses
Connect.
AT&T sites, I do know that.
So it's probably either a Geotab or a Samsara then.
The model number is an FL, does that help?
There could be Fleetmatics too.
Okay.
this information, would it be able to be used by our police department, any chases or arrests as far as location, speed, et cetera?
That'll all be there.
So there's been some back and forth. I'm gonna make a motion to table it until next month. Any discussion on that? Table till July, roll call.
Neely.
Aye.
Schultz.
Aye.
Koval.
Aye.
Watkins. Aye. Jennings.
Aye.
Preston.
Aye.
Williams. Aye. Thank you.
Anything else?
That was it. Thank you.
Thank you. Good idea, I think. Sounds good.
Well, it's worth looking into.
It definitely is. It's just, there's some hiccups in it.
Yeah.
We see it a lot.
Junior council?
Nothing.
Nothing? What page?
I got nothing.
Yeah, we gotta get fine time with you.
Absolutely. Oh,
Can I ask a question about workers?
yes.
Is there a specific one you are looking at, considering, or is this a start from scratch?
So we had it one that was, not utilized due to compiling the information to get it uploaded. Previous JCP had worked on it for me. She graduated out and it didn't go any further. So we own the domain name, but we will have to get it hosted, et cetera. So.
Thank you.
Yep.
There's, the chamber, they seem to get a webpage up and running soon. We use their,
Actually, that lady is not doing them anymore. I have already spoken to her.
have they
She was my
found a
first
new,
contact.
have they found a new service to maintain?
Well, she is still doing theirs. She's just not doing
taking
new ones.
clients?
Right. And she was my first contact when it got brought up, so.
I think this PSVB, they don't actually have, they still have a vendor they use, correct?
Correct. They're the ones that hosted it before, but they are out of it and they just have a vendor, correct? But they don't do a lot of the hands-on, and before, time management was an issue. So it would be more helpful if we had one that might be a little more hands-on. That's why Julian and I have to discuss, you know, how much time he has versus mine and or Lyle's, so.
COG.
On April 22nd, minutes are in the packets.
Shade Tree, it looks like New Beginnings started to help them. Promote the Arboretum, thank you. Library, there's information on there. Visit the library via rail to the chamber. Downtown celebration July 13th. Classic car show August 2nd. And then the bike ride in the fall. School board is June 13th. Next meeting, July 8th. Committees, please have a committee meeting. Or committee heads, please have a meeting as soon as possible to get some of these other discussions started and then brought back to the meeting. There is no need for executive session. Meeting is adjourned.